I do often wonder if vegans are maybe the devolution of man. Like in 20 years, maybe we're going to turn back into like monkeys.
Oh, burn, son. See, look at the look on that vegan's face. Completely, absolutely in shock. How dare you disagree with my beliefs? Basically did call him going backwards in humanity. Basically saying he has a smaller brain. Great stuff, Lad Bible. Thank you. You know what? I'm actually kind of surprised that Lad Bible have pulled this together. What's up, boys? Welcome back to the Ablaze channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to be having a look at this video that a few of you have sent me, where a hunter and a vegan sit down together and they debate on certain topics, whether they agree or disagree with certain things to do with veganism and hunting. Yes, that's right. The two opposite worlds collide for an absolutely very entertaining video. Let's just see how this one rolls out.
Hi,
hey, how
it's
you doing?
you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Hi, nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
nice to
Hi.
meet you.
First of all, I just like that she comes in saying, it's you again. Not like they've only managed to found one vegan in the whole of London. In the whole of England, there's only one vegan that lives here. Mind you, I'm not surprised. I know that there's a lot, but then there's also not that many that would probably want to come on a program to try and defend it, because trying to defend veganism is, I can imagine it's not the most easiest thing to defend, for obvious reasons, boys. Now, the first question they ask, is it morally wrong to eat meat? Let's see how they both respond. What a complete surprise, guys. I have been bamboozled. Who would have thought the vegan says, I strongly agree with that? I did not. Honestly, I didn't see that one coming, to be honest. I'm actually in disbelief right now.
Actually.
Why do you say disagree, not strongly disagree?
Because it depends what type of meat.
So what do you mean by type of meat?
I personally disagree with eating meat that has been bought from the supermarket. I don't believe in walking down a supermarket aisle to these perfectly wrapped pink pieces of flesh with kind of no relationship to where they're from.
See, I completely agree with that, but at the same time, of course, it is very impractical for everybody to be going out hunting. I mean, could you imagine that? I do like the fact, though, that the hunter is pretty middle ground on this and is able to see the other person's point of view. Now, obviously, this is always a theme that vegans do not have. Sorry, vegans. You'll see how many people that just triggered by looking at the dislike button. But yeah, I don't know, trying to like go around hunting for different animals and stuff, for everybody to be doing that, as I'm sure she probably already knows, is very impractical. And then what happens when it's to do with burgers and pizzas? Like, is there going to be people out there trying to hunt a free-range burger in the wild? You know the vegans will be posting stuff like, thank God McDonald's is closed. Nature is finally healing itself, with a picture of a burger running around in a field.
So what type of meat do you advocate for people to eat?
I personally hunt the meat that I eat myself.
Okay.
I don't advocate that everyone goes out there and hunts because it's impractical.
No.
However, I do promote that there is wild meat available to be purchased online. So I suppose I do advocate to eat meat that's been responsibly and ethically sourced.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that, but I also feel like having meat like that is a complete luxury if you can afford that. I mean, there's a lot of people, and especially right now while being in quarantine, this video was only posted about 5 days ago, so they're talking about these topics while everything's sort of going on. I just don't think people can really go and afford spending £20 on a piece of chicken when they could then go to the same supermarket, pretty much get the same piece of meat, just not know where it's from, £3.50. But at the same time, when you do buy packet meat, it does normally tell you the farm it comes from, the area it comes from, and you're more than welcome to research that yourself.
Over meat that's been produced in mass factory farm conditions.
What we both agree on there is that we want people to be connected to what they eat. And mindlessly shopping in a supermarket is, the last thing we want. We want people to be connected. Use that word ethical earlier. Obviously, that's going to be where we have a huge disagreement, right? When we kill an animal, we don't show respect to them, and we take their life from them completely unnecessarily.
Bruh, definitely not completely unnecessary. I mean, it is, I would say living and trying to survive is it's definitely up there on the top tier list of being necessary.
And it has no purpose in either of our lives, and we don't have to. So by default, it can't be ethical to take life needlessly.
You can just see that the hunter is sitting there just gritting her teeth. The vegan's saying, we don't even need to do this. This is just completely unnecessary. Why do people go out and hunt? It's not as if people need to eat. Come on, man. This is just stupid. And I know he's going to go spew some bullshit about him now being on a vegan-based food diet and he's completely fine. But if you actually look at people that have been on a vegan-based diet for longer than a few years, they pretty much always turn back to going to meat. Honestly, very unlikely to be anyone out there that actually has stuck to a vegan diet for more than 20 years. And if they do, they are like the most miserable people I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen a happy vegan video. They're always protesting, getting angry at everything. Please, honestly, just go home, cook yourself a steak, cheer up. A nice steak. Oh, Jesus, man, that's enough to cheer anyone up, let's be honest. I mean, even in this little clip here, them debating and her being very open-minded, he's given her like the death stare like at least 5 times already.
Could I ask, what do you believe makes your diet more ethical than mine? Every time, every single plant crop that you eat, there will have been animals that die.
I'm glad that you used the word more ethical. I'm happy to admit that in a vegan diet, it's not perfect, but what it is it's a significant step in the right direction.
Isn't it even like shooting yourself in your own foot? Because I know that vegans are very strongly against killing animals or even harming animals, which of course, in some circumstances, I feel like you have to be a complete psychopath to disagree with. Them eating the crops and farming the land and eating the crops again and again, which there's only so many times you can really do that before you damage the environment. Surely you're hurting the animals just as much, it's just not as visual as what most meat eaters are doing. But in the long run, it's going to hurt certain animals just as much. Also, the whole thing going along the lines of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, we've been eating off meat now for the past how many thousands of years? I really feel like all this is just another way for people to get triggered and angry about something. And I'm sure people listening to this video here are probably again absolutely insanely angry at me suggesting this or saying these things. But I always like to try and have a little bit of like a middle ground in these videos and try and talk and see both ends of the picture. I can really understand the frustration for this hunter who's doing the best she can, because at the end of the day, yes, hunting your own food is probably the best way to go about things. Like I've already said, impractical for everybody to be doing that, but the best way that she's managed to sort of do this, and they're still not happy with that. Furthering on my point on what I literally have just said, is it natural for humans to eat meat? Now, okay, I swear to God, I'm going to jump out this window if the vegan legit says strongly disagrees. I've already opened the window because I'm that certain he's going to do it. Let's have a look.
I'll be strong about that one.
Okay, luckily I've been saved for today. At least he doesn't strongly disagree. Thank you. I just would have thought from all those death stares from earlier, all the built up anger, I felt like he generally would have put strongly disagree. But even saying disagree is also a big dum-dum. But I kind of want to hear him out and see what he has to say about this.
This is how I feel about the natural thing, is I can't say that I strongly disagree or agree. I kind of feel that I should maybe be a little bit more in the just straight bang neutral in the middle because, well, I mean, because I think at the end of the day...
Hello. Can we get another table, please? Just gets up and walks to the end of the room and just puts it on the floor on the furthest side away. I would honestly still agree with that.
It cannot be denied that we've eaten meat for thousands of years, right? And it also can't be denied that eating meat was a cornerstone in our survival, in our development in many ways, and it helped us progress to the species. That can't be denied. But I think that what is natural, it's kind of a fallacy because it doesn't translate to how we should live in today's world. You know, there's a lot of things that we don't do that would be considered natural. So what is natural doesn't connotate what is moral or immoral. So I think that it's irrelevant whether or not eating meat would be considered something that we have naturally done throughout history because we've changed so much as a species.
I think it's a shame that we've changed though. I think we need to keep that connection to nature, and I really, I mean, like you say, the science is there. You know, we do have the canines, we do have the incisors for ripping and tearing. There's some really interesting information and studies that people have found out there about our early ancestors and how eating meat and the specific proteins from meat actually made us human as we are today.
Exactly. There's actually been a lot of studies done in the past showing that, for example, brain growth, so the size of our brain has increased the second we started eating meat. So that's a much natural thing. Saying that we've changed in some things, so we should change in this, it's just, I don't get that at all. There are some things that we have changed to now that obviously haven't been beneficial for the planet or for ourselves, like burning coal, even though again in some ways it kind of has, because the technologies that's brought. So something as defining as eating meat is so built into us that I really find it very hard to sit here and watch this and try and listen to someone try and debate and argue that. And to be honest, watching him try and tiptoe around that question, I believe he also finds it very difficult himself.
I do often wonder if vegans are maybe the devolution of man. Like in 20 years, maybe we're going to turn back into like monkeys, or because we stop eating meat. If I had my way you have daydreams about, we'd all go back to living in caves or living off the land or living off little log cabins. That's where I find my enjoyment.
But you'd be dead at 30.
Still being that.
In that life, you'd be dead at 30.
But hey, I'd have had a great life.
Well, do you what? But you live day-to-day survival. There's no enjoyment in that life. It's a life of fear. That's not an aspirational life. And I think you can say it's an aspirational life because you live such a comfortable life now.
Wait, hold up. If you'd live off the land, you'd be dead in 30. Isn't he basically advocating that that's a great thing to live off the land? Bro, my brain, it hurts. Guys, please. I'm so confused here. So what is he trying to fight for? Is he saying that living off the land while eating meat, you'd be dead at 30, which by the way is not correct? I mean, there's literally programs out there dedicated to people that do that, and they're literally in their 40s living happily. If anyone here has watched Life Below Zero, if not, please do. It is a great program where people do actually live off the land and actually are very healthy.
I think we just live in, I think, as I said, if I had it my way, it'd be like, I suppose, the Disney movie.
In Bambi, they kill the deer, and that's why everyone's upset, because someone kills the deer. And so you say it's like a Disney movie, but you're the bad guy in the Disney movie.
But that's the cruel heart. No, I wouldn't have killed him.
No, okay, but you killed deer, that's the point, right? So
it's because I care about them that I do shoot them. I know that sounds really weird to you.
Well, not necessarily.
Hear me out.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
In the UK, deer have no natural predators. Mm-hmm. Basically, if I didn't manage the deer in those woodlands, the population would explode to an extent that woodlands basically couldn't support, and it would basically spoil the ecosystem for the rest of the wildlife.
It's just the way he sat there like, oh shit, yeah, okay. She's kind of got a point there, to be honest. And she very much does. That is very true. Of course, it would spoil the ecosystem and other things, and them digging up the land to keep planting certain vegetables and stuff will also ruin the land. So if you had a vegan's way of life, not only would there not be any natural predators for certain animals which would kill the ecosystem, but they would also be killing it themselves, which would be an absolutely very impractical way of trying to live. Okay, final question. A vegan diet is better for you. Now, straight off the back, a lot of us know that that's not true, but let's have a look and see what he says. Of course, he's going to strongly agree with this.
I was a vegetarian when I was a child for the same reasons that we're discussing now. I actually got shingles, which was really unusual for someone of such a young age. Went to the doctors, I was really anemic, and he said she's not, I mean, I'm not saying this is the case now, but back then, the diet that I was having just wasn't meeting my nutritional requirements.
Well, dairy is an iron inhibitor anyway, but a vegan diet is healthier for you. It's not true in its blanket statement, because obviously you could eat, Oreos and Doritos all day and be terribly unhealthy. But at the same time, if you implement a whole foods plant-based diet, you're aware of where your nutrients come from, you're on that, then it absolutely can be.
Apart from the fact that you literally have to take vitamin tablets to stay alive. Okay, boys. Great video from Lad Bible, being very entertaining. I'm gonna end it there. If you guys did enjoy this type of content though, a little bit more of a sort of chill video where we kind of try and dissect what a lot of these people are saying. In fact, they actually have a few more questions after this. I'd say I got about halfway through this video, so if you'd maybe like to see a part 2 of this, I'll be more than happy to carry this on in another video. But let me know, boys and girls, if you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Also, if you enjoy this type of content on this channel, make sure to come over and subscribe. We're getting pretty close now to 300k, and it would mean a lot to me. And anyway, boys and girls, I'll see you all in the next video.